Are black people gonna ever be safe from white women tears?
No.
No.
My enemy of progress is Michelle Bishop. She has gone viral because allegedly she racially profiled this guy who lives in her neighborhood.
Do you live here? Yeah. You do? Papa. I don't believe that.
What?
I don't believe that.
So what are you doing?
Corey, come on.
But you didn't say, this is my home. You just said, are you looking?
I did. When you was on the porch, you asked me, did I live here? I said, yeah. And you said, I don't think you do.
They only released the footage because she went onto her IG crying and saying, yeah.
Did I overreact? Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know how it could be twisted that way when I literally thought he was a white man.
That she can't be racist because she thought he was white. Shut up.
You want to see the White Woman Tears playbook play out in real time? First things first, everything I'm about to say is totally my own opinion based on my own observations of publicly available information and court documents. A black woman named Bree invented this amazing magnetic hair clip. It is designed to be a low tension clip. It is designed specifically for locks. Another woman named Kirsten Owen allegedly copied her design, mimicked Bree's entire marketing, and when Bree saw this, she was like, hey, what the hell? Spoke up about it. What did Kirsten do? Did Kirsten take accountability? Absolutely no. She's a white woman, remember? We don't take accountability. We have a hard time with that. No, Kirsten started crying victim, saying that Bree is literally bullying her. Enter Keandria. If you guys don't know Keandria, she is a fucking incredible woman. She's a black activist. This woman right here. She saw all of this going down and she's like, hell no. And she spoke up. She went to Bree's defense. And then what happened? Kirsten is suing both of them. Within 6 days, before Bree or Keandria had ever even been served, a federal judge gave a gag order. Even a UCLA law professor flagged that order as constitutionally shaky. Here's something else. I'm talking about this with my 16-year-old. We're looking through Kirsten's shop and immediately, you know what my 16-year-old says? These all look like knockoffs. They all just look like 3D printed versions of other people's stuff. Allegedly, based on my observations, this is my opinion. But this is what modern colonization looks like, no? The invention is stolen. It's stolen from a black woman. The black woman then gets demonized, is getting demonized by a white woman. The white woman is weaponizing the legal system to silence her. And here's the thing, that court order might have gagged Bree and Keandria, but you know what? Kirsten, you cannot silence me. So I'm gonna say your name again. Kirsten Owen, I see what you're doing. We all see what you're doing.
What you just watched is a clip of something called the Turn It Off Challenge, the sound for which currently has 75,900 videos, and it's a prime example of the danger of white woman tears. One Twitter user wrote, "White women have historically used their tears and their false victimhood to accuse and vilify people of color, particularly those from the black community. This trend is showing the ability to falsify emotions and manipulate others. This has a dangerous history." The concept of white women victimizing themselves is not new. Many TikTok users commented on the case of Emmett Till. Till was a 14-year-old black child, pictured here, who was lynched in 1955 after he was accused of offending a white woman. Recently, many people saw this woman, Amy Cooper, call the police on a black man birdwatching in Central Park.
White women's tears are dangerous, and considering that it's Bobo's birthday coming up, I'll start with Emmett Till, who wasn't the first victim of white women tears. But thanks to his mother, he is the most widely known by sharing his mutilated body with the world. This woman, Teresa, accused a young black boy, just like Bobo, of harassing her in a store. Luckily, there was video evidence showing that he did nothing. By the way, this is the girl that accused Bobo of harassing her. Her name is Caroline Bryant. She's still alive today, so feel free to beat her old ass if you see her. But historically, why are white women like this? It's because they are oppressed by their gender and privileged by their race, which means that they are privileged without power. White women slave owners had no powers, and they had to watch their husband control the world and make little black babies. They took their power out on the less powerless slaves. But then slaves began to get their own power, being desegregated, being equalized. 60 seconds is not enough time to fit everything in, but look at this. I would be so embarrassed to have them as ancestors.
So there was a really interesting video made by White Woman Whisperer. I tried to stitch it and the audio didn't record, so I'm going to try to record it again here. tag her below because you should go watch her video. But she basically poses the question, or opens up this discussion, this bear versus man discussion, to Black women in asking, okay, if you're in an office, who would you rather walk in, a white man or a white woman? And she said that the collective answer would be a white man. And a lot of women are getting offended. A lot of white women are getting offended because they're like, oh my gosh, what a man could do to you is so much worse than a woman. Like, this is divisive. But like, you're not getting it. The reason why Black women would choose a white man over a white woman is for the same reason that women as a collective, especially white women, would choose the bear over the man. It is the danger you know versus the danger you don't. And like, historically, the under the surface racism that white women have for Black women has caused death and destruction and is absolutely a humongous danger. Because Black women know, like in our society, that a white woman's accounting of things will always be taken more seriously than a Black woman's. So she has to have like a distance because of personal safety. Now, I've seen this play out in my real life. I live in the South. I go to a lot of like influencer functions with like large groups of people, and I can see the difference between women of color who know me and women of color who don't, and how they interact with me and like the guard that they have up. And that's not offensive to me because it's common sense. I absolutely expect them to be apprehensive of a white woman in the South because they don't know what they're getting. But just as the whole point of the bear versus man conversation is to make men understand that women are innately apprehensive and cautious around all men, the question that White Woman Whisperer was posing is to make white women understand the cautiousness that Black women have around white women. That sort of like being scared of me before I give them a reason not to is not offensive to me, because it is absolutely my responsibility to prove to these women that I am a safe person, not the other way around. You cannot like bully someone into trusting you with their personal safety. And that's a lesson for the men on the bear conversation too.
So for the longest time, Tears of Black Women has rewritten history, blocked justice, and protected power, and also put Black lives in danger. This is a sensitive topic, but it's the whole truth that we are going to put here, and I would like to let us all watch the video, get an insight of the topic, then I'll be back with my short remarks towards the end of the video. Thank you guys.
Let me tell you a story. When I was an undergrad in college, I was outside smoking a cigarette, and the hall manager came out and said, hey, the dorm is going on lockdown. Some white girl at the union had gotten her iPod stolen. I asked if there was a description of the person, and they said that she described him as a Black man somewhere between 5'9" and 6'5", wearing t-shirt and jeans with short black hair. I knew she was lying immediately, and I was proven right the next day. She threw her own iPod in the lake so that she could get her mommy and daddy to buy her a new one. But she was willing to ruin someone's entire life or potentially get them killed just so she could get a new iPod. And that, as well as this trend, just proves why Emmett Till is dead. White women weaponizing their fake fucking tears. Because it's so powerful and they know it is. That display of exploiting their privilege is so repulsive.
This white woman tears trend that has been going around on TikTok recently is like really gross. So it is apparently a trend on TikTok at the moment for particularly white women to film videos of themselves pretending to cry, and then when the beat drops they suddenly show that they were just faking the entire time. And there have been many POC creators on this app that have already outlined the issues inherent with that, and how white women's fragility and victimhood has historically been used to target particularly Black men. But the thing is, white women participate in trends like these and then turn around and wonder why people of color don't trust us, and wonder why people of color have so many criticisms about feminism and white feminism in particular. This is exactly why. Because we participate in trends like this showing no understanding of the context of our actions and their consequences. Historically, white women have always pushed people of color aside in our activism in order to further our own interests at their expense. We have not shown ourselves to be worthy of trust, and this is just another example of that.
White women crying when they receive any sort of criticism from women of color is fucking racist. Because white women will sit there and use their tears as weapons against women of color to absolve themselves from any sort of guilt but also to silence women of color. And this white damsel in distress narrative is not only racist, but it is also lethal. White women tears only helps uphold white supremacy.
You have a chapter in the book about white women's tears, and I think that even reading the name of that chapter might cause some white fragility in some readers. Can you talk a little bit about where that term came from and why you chose to write about it?
Well, I can't claim credit for the term, and I think people of color and women of color have been writing about that for a long time. But I think about that in two different kind of contexts in which white women's tears erupt. And this doesn't mean that white men don't have their version of tears, but it's not usually literal crying, right? So when a white woman cries, conscious or not, we've been socialized to kind of gravitate to her distress and to take care of her. And I should be really more explicit. White middle-class women, right? That kind of Southern belle, that delicate flower, right? There's a history behind that. And conscious or not, it triggers that pull for other people to comfort her. So suddenly, all the resource in the room has gone to the aggressor, if you will, if the context is she's been given feedback that something she said or done is problematic. She bursts into tears, and then suddenly the room comes to her to comfort her, and the person who gave her the feedback, particularly if it's a person of color, is now the aggressor. And they're left with, the impact, and then she's going to get coddling around her intentions. Emotions are political. When she cries, that drives the group's behavior in a way that then impacts others in the way that I've talked about. There's also a history behind a kind of terror, quite frankly, again for African Americans in particular, and I'm going to assume your listeners know the Emmett Till story. A white woman claimed to be distressed about a young black boy flirting with her, and he was brutally murdered. Everyone ran to her comfort in that. On her deathbed, she recently passed, she admitted that she had lied about what happened. But black people don't forget that history, right? And it's kept alive in lots of different ways. I mean, a white person might think, oh, well, that was a long time ago, but that's part of the psychic burden that we don't carry. A white person has heard the testimony of a person of color, right? Or they've watched something on the TV, somebody's been beaten, right, on TV, or shot in the back, unarmed black man, and a white woman cries. I think it's complex, right? Because I think on the one hand, people of color are probably wondering, where is our grief? Like, what does it take to move us? Like, why is that what it takes to move us, right? When this is going on all the time, it's always been going on, right? I think the only thing that's new is we can film these things.
There's been a great conversation on here that I've been following about white women tears, and I keep seeing white autistic females coming in and saying, oh, like, I don't do that because I'm autistic. And let's have a conversation. I know that we're all like very literal thinkers, but white women tears goes way beyond like someone purposely crying to like get their way in a situation. It's about how everyone in society, especially men, are conditioned to react and respond to white women's feelings. Feelings can mean anything. It's not just crying. And I would argue, as white autistic women, we are more dangerous in these situations. From analyzing myself and my own behavior, I can think of like two main reasons why we are more dangerous. The first one being that autistics just struggle to read situations, and I myself often don't understand like power dynamics or like undertones of situations, and just by agreeing with someone or reacting in any sort of way can set a whole situation off that you didn't understand was happening. And the second one being that autistic people struggle to regulate their facial expressions and their emotions. And having your emotions on display in public creates a situation that could potentially be dangerous for someone else. And you might be sitting here saying, well, like, those are things out of my control. Like, I'm autistic. And to that, I say that's just not a valid excuse. Like, I'm sorry. Because there are so many autistic people of color that are forced to mask those expressions and figure out situations for their own safety. Therefore, you should be putting in as much effort as possible to also be doing that to keep them safe. After I had this whole like little thought process that I had based off of this conversation, and I'll tag videos down below of like people talking about this, but once I got to this place of like understanding like my presence and like the whole dynamic, I was like, okay, so how do I make sure that I'm not creating situations or like adding flame to the fire in situations? And I thought for my second point of how like we can't control our expressions or our emotions sometimes, and an easy solution to that is to just leave the situation, remove yourself, therefore you are not creating a situation. But for my first point of not understanding situations and accidentally like adding flame to the fire, that's where I want to like open this up, because I'm struggling to figure out how to go about that. I know that I have really good pattern recognition, and that if I understand more, that I will be able to say, oh, that's a pattern, oh, I see what's happening, but I don't know every single pattern. What I've kind of like decided on doing is that to understand like patterns and stuff, to just make sure that I am actively listening and paying attention to every conversation and all people of color and their experiences, so that I can categorize that in my brain as like, okay, their experience, I need to log that as a pattern. I think that's it. Sorry, I just really wanted to like show my thought process, and that ended up making like a 3-minute long video. I felt like this was an important conversation to like weigh in on. Please let me know if like I shouldn't have like weighed in, or just like please correct me if I said anything incorrectly. I really just want to like show my thought process.
Why do white women start crying when you hold them accountable? Simple. Because it works. Because society has taught them that they are delicate and they are dainty, and that they deserve more protection than anybody else on the face of the earth. And so when you hold them accountable, when you have the audacity to tell them that they have done something wrong, that they have offended you, that anything that they have done is anything other than worthy of ass kissing, they will ring the bell of danger to alert everyone in the surrounding area that they are being attacked. And what do people do when they start crying? Oh, they start scurrying around, asking questions, and in a very accusatory tone towards the non-crying, non-white woman, all in an effort to protect and defend this helpless, dainty, delicate little flower. And she knows it works. And so because she knows it works, she does it. That's why every 13 days we have a new white woman on the internet with a face full of crocodile tears, crying about a situation or a circumstance that she has not found herself in, that she has created for herself due to her own negative behavior.
I think now's a good time to mention that any money I make off of these stupid fucking videos with my tear stick making fun of white women will be donated to black people or black organizations, because if there's anyone that should be profiting off of white women tears, it's definitely not another white bitch. It actually kind of takes a long time to see what videos made money-wise, and I'm kind of new to it because I wasn't making money on this bitch before. But I will I will of course submit proof of what I made off of those videos and what I donated, because I think that's important. Because as funny as it is to make fun of white people, which go to town, you know what I'm saying? Have your fun. In my case, as a white woman, it doesn't help anything just for me to make fun of them. So I want to make sure that I'm also making a positive impact, and that it's not just talking shit for shit's sake, which if you're a person of color, that is your game to play. Not white bitch game to play. You know what I mean?
So welcome back again, guys. And as we've seen, tears of white women have occasionally been used to shift attention from black pain and focus on manipulating people into focusing into white fragility. This has made people feel like maybe white women are more fragile compared to black women, and in most cases this has led to the oppressor turning into the victim, you see. So in such cases, this is more of manipulation than trying to find justice for yourself. And most of us can also bear witnesses that fake innocence narrative has been sold for the longest time, giving white women I'd say an earned protection, while black women are always perceived to be angry or aggressive. And this is the most judgmental way of solving an issue in any case, because why would someone fake innocence and gain people's sympathy only for another person to seem like they're the worst people to ever live, while down beneath they know that they are the main reasons as to why our black sisters and brothers are being perceived as bad people in the society. Apparently, we've all, if not witnessed, we've heard about the Karen cases. Karens are people who will find trouble where there is no trouble and will act like they know much in a situation that doesn't involve them in any way. And we've seen that, I'd say, we've seen that these people have always manipulated people, and there has been emotional manipulation among white women, and we've all witnessed it with the current cases whereby they would fake their tears and distress only for them to summon police violence against our black brothers and sisters. And unfortunately, in most cases, they tend to win, because these people are always quick to be the ones to call the police and act like they have been offended, while in the real case, they are the ones who dipped their noses into somebody else's business and are now trying to find trouble for them, because for them, they feel like they should be the ones commanding everything that is going on in their community. They should be the ones commanding every activity that is taking place in the community. And there has been even cases that someone goes to somebody else's shop and try to stop other workers from working because maybe he or she felt that they're not supposed to be working there or doing the activity given to them, only for the owners of the shop to come and embarrass them and show them that they are aware of whatever is taking place there and they should mind their own businesses. Though that is an example of a positive way that such a case has been handled. In many cases, people have gotten arrested, people have gotten jumped in for matters that did not concern the oppressors. Our society has also failed us to some extent, because they have played a great role in the encouragement of these manipulative acts, in a way that they have viewed the emotions of the white women as truthful and pure, while sidelining the emotions of black women and viewing them as doubtful and fake, thus ending up to create more pain for the black people and having them being pushed into struggles of trying to prove themselves, even when they are the ones who are right, because the society has had to, like, I'd say, they have been blinded to an extent that they feel like a certain race has to be the ones that maybe are the softer ones, and while the other has to be the ones who are maybe always rough and enraged every now and then. While for the black brothers and sisters, these are people who like having things going straight forward. You see, if you're wrong, you're wrong. if you're right, you're right. You see, you don't have to oppress me, or you don't have to fake your tears in order to put me in my place when I've offended you. And also, you don't have to use your tears against me even when you know you are the one who is on the wrong. You see, so these are the downside of how the society has played a role in encouraging the tears of white women, and having them feel like they are more privileged once they shed a tear, and their word cannot have anything against it when it comes to justice. Just to finish off my remarks, I'd say that until the white women realize that their fake tears and emotional manipulation are cutting deep wounds into our Black brothers and sisters, justice and emotional stability, there will never be any level of equality. And again, as we all know, this channel promotes the truth. We are not demonizing tears. Those are my short remarks, and kindly watch, like, share, and subscribe to my channel and watch us grow together. Thank you guys, and goodbye till next time.